Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Chris and Lucinda. We're dialing in from the wilderness in South Africa. So awesome to see you guys all on the call this evening. So tonight's training is going to be on the 40-day network navigator. Now, before jumping in, all I can say is I am absolutely blown away with the amount of people that joined the group wanting to do the 40-day navigator.
We knew it would be popular, but sure.
Well,
like wowed us.
Remember what I said to you,
100, yes, maybe 200 by the end of this. And we are like 600 people.
620 people.
Wow. And it's still growing.
And this just shows me that people are hungry for self-development and wanting to learn how to do the business. They want to learn about the industry. So, as a lot of you guys know, or you might not know, the network marketing industry has been around for 136 years. Now, myself, let me explain to you why I've kind of like put this all in place. Now, in my beginning days, I was climbing the corporate ladder. I was studying traditional marketing. I was working as marketing manager for a company. And at the age of 22, in 1997, is when I got involved in my first network marketing company. Also a unique little product, also had a patent on it, and I built a massive team. Back then in the old days, that was old flip charts and drawing circles and that type of thing. That was like prehistoric days. I'm sure some of you can relate. And so I did that full time for 3 years. So when you're learning any type of skill, whether you're studying to become a teacher, a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you're studying to become, there's a certain amount of hours that you need to put into the profession. Looking at 10,000 hours you need to put into something to master a skill. Now, if you have a look at schooling, because of the hours that take the holidays into account and only the time that you go to school and that type of thing, is 12,000 hours. That's 12,000 hours of your schooling life. Then to master something is 10,000 hours. And I didn't know this. Pilot that flies a Boeing, a commercial airplane, has got a very big responsibility. You've got a lot of humans in your hands. So you've got to be able to fly 10,000 hours before you get your commercial pilot license. 10,000 hours because of the responsibility that a pilot has in people's lives. Now, if you think about what we have in our lives, we have the potential to save people's lives. And I'm talking about on every level. I mean, with the health, we know we've got the best product in the world, hands down, right? But we're also talking about the money side, the wealth side, the business side of LifeWave, which is very important because a lot of people are taking strain out there, specifically after COVID. This world took a big knock. People still haven't got back on the feet. And a lot of people are praying right now. People are praying, going, please, God, I'm just looking for a way out. I'm looking for something that I can just support my family, put food on the table, keep the roof over our head. And we have the solution. We have the answer right now. And it's up to us to share this opportunity with people and help people mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. We're talking about every single level. So when I was young, 22 years old, 22, 23, 24, 25, that is when I did my first network marketing company. Then, unfortunately, the owner of the company passed away and the company closed down. The children ran it into the ground in basically 9 months. So why am I telling you the story? Because after that, I went into direct sales for a company in South Africa for 12 years, and I had my own children's toy company for 12 years. So I've been out of the network marketing industry for 2.5 decades. 25 years, I've been out of the industry. Then George, thank you so much to George, sees me on that Zoom call, tells me I look like crap, tells me he's got the solution for me. I get onto the patches. This is 2.5 years ago, and my life completely turned around. And that's how we're sitting on the call here this evening. But what happened is I had to get myself to scratch. So I'm talking about the first 2-3 weeks of me joining LifeWave. I knew that there's been changes in the industry. I mean, we went from uni level to binary system and all of that type of thing. And wow, talk about positive changes in the industry. But I had to get myself mentally, emotionally, and my mindset back in the game, because 25 years is a long time. I had to get myself to scratch. So this is before This Is It wasn't even developed yet. We didn't even know who Steve and Gina were. We didn't even know who Harvey and Olga were. It was just George. And this is early days. We like, somebody help us. We don't know what to do. And I had to do a crash course. So I was Googling like crazy, and I came across this guy, Darren Kidd. And I watched 1 or 2 video clips of his, and I thought, this guy is good. This guy is good. And I downloaded clip after clip after clip. And I ended up with a selection of 40, a bit more, about 42, 43 different clips. And Darren Kidd, what I love about this guy is his bedside manner. He's got such a beautiful way of speaking and bringing a message across in a way that everybody can understand, in layman's terms. And the topics that he speaks about was just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, can relate.
You can relate to it. So so I didn't do like what you guys are doing now, doing 1 clip a day over 40 days. I just went I went all in. Guys, I watched like 45 clips of Darren Kidd, and I'm not joking with you. Within 5-6 days, I mean, I was just watching and watching. I was like SpongeBob SquarePants. I was like a sponge. I was just taking in like a sponge every bit of information that I could get. Man, I got myself from there to there in like literally a week. Thank you to Darren Kidd. And then, yeah, I can't believe it. I sort of like forgot about it. Yes, I put a bit of the info in the toolbox and this and that, but I felt quite bad that I sort of got myself up to scratch, get this knowledge, and then here I am 2.5 years later, only sharing it with everybody. I mean, Chris, hello, what was I thinking? Now, what I did was, I mean, I'm going to let Lucinda tell her story quickly, but what I did was, so I got myself up to scratch. We went to the trainings, we started the Zooms, got the physical meetings going, and that's how we got the ball going. But then Lucinda, she comes from the clothing industry. She had her own company for 20 years, as most of you know. And then when Lucinda closed her business down and decided she was going to do LifeWave full time together with me, I had to put Lucinda onto a crash course. And I said to her,
where do I start? What do I do first? I had no idea, but I knew that I wanted to learn this because it's quite exciting. And I knew that I could. It was teachable. Right?
So what did I do? I sent Lucinda a clip a day for 40 days.
But I also didn't stop there. So I was then, okay, this sounds interesting. Who else can teach me more? Because Chris is like, only give me a clip a day. So I was looking at other people, Eric Worre, John Rowan. I loved his clip. And you'll hear George speak as well. We try and listen to that once a month. Fraser Brook. There were some other mentors where I was just pulling stuff out that I could learn from and just over and over, like literally submerged myself. And also being like a sponge, being completely open to this new industry and unlearning anything that I was set in my ways with, especially when it came to sales. How do I unlearn that? Because now it's a skill that is actually working against me. Right. So trying to rebuild myself up and get the knowledge that I need to get to put me in the position that I needed to be. And definitely when Chris talks about the 10,000 hours, that is what it takes to master a skill. That's the hours that you need to put in. Now, you know, that's why they say network marketing can take you from between 2.5 to 5 years because you have to put in the hours. But we see that you can do it faster in the industry, in the network marketing industry company that we are with. There's more tools at hand, and it's definitely doable. So that's basically what I did for the first basically 3 months before I even spoke to a person, right? Before I even learned about the product and learned about the compensation plan and everything else I needed to do. Just how do I master the skills needed to be able to operate in this industry?
More than just an industry, this is a profession.
Yeah.
This is a recognized profession.
Yeah.
And, just to give you guys an idea, did you know, okay, we know Donald Trump is the USA president, but before that, he was a very successful businessman. And you remember he had this show called The Apprentice. The Apprentice. He had the show called The Apprentice. And just remember how hectic he was. Like, you're fired. But
it was a show, though, right?
The show. But did you know that in Donald Trump, when he was running his own businesses, he would not hire anybody unless they'd been in network marketing full time for 2 years and hit the top rank of the company. Only then would he hire them in the business, because of the skill set and the mindset and what you learn in this industry, because it's going
skills, all of that.
No, it'll challenge you on every level, and you're going to learn. You're going to become
Thick skin.
Never mind thick skin. You're going to become unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable, because you're going to learn so many skills in this beautiful, beautiful industry. And so I'm going to give you like a bit of a sneak preview. So as you guys know, we're on day 4. And we did day 1, which was seven steps for getting started. Day 2 was recruit 10 people in 10 days. Number 3, grow fast in network marketing. And today, day 4 was 5 reasons why people fail. So it's always nice to know what to do. But I remember my dad always used to teach me also what not to do in life. So that's also so important. And then tomorrow, day 5, I'm going to give you a bit of a sneak preview of what's to come. I'm just going to give you the topics, right? I'm just going to whet your appetite a little bit. Tomorrow is the best recruiting secret. And then the one that I'm going to love is for Saturday. Guys, Saturdays is going to be brilliant. Network marketing versus a job. Network marketing versus a job. Day 7, 5 prospecting tips and techniques. Day 8, 3 tips for closing. Day 9, the power of storytelling. Guys, that is one of my favorite ones. Day 9, that's what's coming. Number 10, how to stay motivated. Guys, you can, staying motivated is an inside job, because what we deal with is something that we need to prepare people for. And that's a concept called rejection. That concept called rejection. You see Beverly shaking her head. And, it's something that we need to get past, because rejection is, a lot of people take it personally. And what we need to do is have a shift there where rejection is not personal. When a person says no, all they're really saying is not right now. And we can talk from experience. We've been with LifeWave 2.5 years. And so many people we spoke to a year and a half, 2 years ago, are only now coming back to us, where we thought it was a complete rejection. It wasn't. It wasn't a rejection. They were just in a different season, because, there are 4 seasons in the year. So every 3 months, people are in a different season, and you might have caught them in winter, and they might have been going through a lot of things in their life. So never take anything personally. That's one of the 4 agreements. Never take anything personally, because you don't know what's happening in a person's life. They could be dealing with something so hectic that they don't want to share with everybody. They could be having work issues, marital issues, problems with their kids, you name it. There's so many things happening. And people just, when you're trying to keep your head above water, you've got your job, you've got bills to pay, you've got this and that, and you've got problems at home, problems with the family, parent that might be sick, all of these things. We've got so much in our life that we're dealing with, so many things that we have to deal with. We're trying to sort of just keep everything balanced, right? And then here we come talking about stem cell patches. Oh my God, you got to put these things on your body. That's so cool. It's going to do this. And they're going, Like, can't handle it. My brain's going to pop. Please go away. Go away. No, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Not now. You just got them in the wrong season. That's all it is. So keeping motivated, because sometimes when you get, I look at myself, I've personally signed up 72 people in the last 2.5 years. It's not a lot of people. If you break it down, it's about 2.2 people a month, right? But I didn't speak to 72 people to sign up 72 people. I probably spoke to 500 or 600 people to sign up 72 people. And as Lucinda always says, get through the no's and the rejection quicker because you flip those cards and you're going to find the right people.
Yeah. Another no just gets you closer to your yes.
So how to stay
And see
motivated.
the no's as a blessing.
And what did you say? Protects you?
Yeah.
What
rejection is protection.
Rejection is protection. Yes, sometimes you actually don't want those people. You've been protected. Okay, then day 11, recruit 20 people in 30 days. Day 12, 3 biggest mistakes you can make. Day 13, how to generate leads. Day 14, one of my favorites. Day 14, guys, 2 weeks in, the pyramid scheme myth. Oh, Darren Kidd covers that like a pro. Number 15, the magic ingredient. 16, goal setting. Day 17, bankrupt to millionaire. Day 18, 70,000 times more powerful than how is what it's having your why in place. Day 20, positive affirmations. Day 20, one tip that will change everything. I'm stopping at day 20. I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea. Guys, wait until the next 20 days. So the secret really is consistency. And now I'm going to jump in and I'm going to give you the information on how this all came about. So we're busy doing our country trip at the moment. And Beverly, that's been part of the business for nearly a year now, lives in Cape Town. Edward and Charlene live in Cape Town. We met you guys in person for the first time, which was just so amazing. So we get to Cape Town and we're sitting, we're chatting to Beverly, we're catching up. And Beverly said, you know what? I want to do this with everything that I've got. I just need to learn more about the industry because I've never been in the industry before and I need to learn. And Beverly said, Chris, can you mentor me and teach me more about the industry? And I'm like, of course I will, definitely, 100%. And then I said, okay, Beverly, I've got an idea. This was about 2 days later when Beverly asked me this. And I thought, right, hang on. Darren Kidd can teach Beverly about the industry better than what I can. So that's on top of the normal Zoom calls and the presentations and everything we do. I'm talking about, guys, the foundation of the industry. And Darren covers all of that. So I said, Beverly, I've got an idea. I'm going to send you a clip a day. And then what I want you to do, I want you to message me before you go to sleep. You're not allowed to go to sleep until you send me a voice note and tell me what you've learned and give me your nuggets. Guys, Beverly sent me a voice note every single night. By the afternoon, sometimes I get a message. Sometimes like, what do you call it?
We wake up to a message.
Yeah, but don't forget that message was sent at like 11:45 at night because I said to Beverly, you're not allowed to go to sleep until you sent a message. And guys, Beverly will tell you by day 8, day 9, something shifted. But then, so that was just what I've been doing with Beverly. But then what happened is, so then we meet Edward and Charlene. And what does Edward do? Chris, it's so nice meeting you. Can you be my mentor? I need you to teach me the industry. I'm going, okay.
And at that time, there was a few other people that are on the group now as well that said the same thing to us, to me as well, and to Chris. And we were like, oh, we would love to, but now what? And also just to say, Beverly is our direct. So, of course, we jumped up in joy and we want to say yes to everybody. But we had to find a way to see how we can do this so that more people can connect quickly. We just have so many hours in our day. So even if we take up mentorship, it will be limited. And how can we, push this forward for everybody that has it? And through the roadshow, we also saw how there's a demand for this and how we should try and look and see what we can put together.
Then what happened is I thought, I'm going to do the same with Edward and Charlene. Guys, I'm going to send you a video clip a day, and I want you to send me a voice note. And you're also within like 5-6 days, something shifted. And that's when the penny dropped for me. That's when the penny dropped for me. And I thought, oh, my hat. I'm like keeping this secret from everybody. I'm just giving it to Beverly, Edward, and Charlene. I mean, how selfish is that? I mean, like, really? But it wasn't like
No.
Conscious selfishness. It was
we haven't put the dots together.
We
didn't realize how much people needed and wanted this and would grab it with both hands, and that we actually had the tools. We just haven't had a minute to realize. So thank you to you guys for sort of like sparking that, right?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Beverly to unmute herself. My first 40-day Network Navigator student that has been doing your homework every single day. And wow, what a shift. Now you're sort of going back again, doing it. And thank you for the input you're putting on the groups. Take a couple of minutes, as long as you want. Please share with us what have you experienced through this process.
Thanks, Chris. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Perfect. So I've got in fact, Chris handled me perfectly because I've got a very specific personality. I need to be held to account every day. I can't just have one day and then a time. And I know obviously that Chris was very, very busy, but I was desperate. One of the things that I've got in my little book is analysis causes paralysis. I'm an overthinker. If I've got too much time, I will unpack this whole thing, and I can't find it in my brain to think like a network marketer. So I was going around like a rabbit in my head, trying to get Chris to understand what is wrong with me, because I just couldn't understand what was wrong with me. I knew what I knew before in my previous career, and I could do that well, but boy, I couldn't do this at all. And I got so frustrated to the point of like almost getting depressed. I'm such a religious person using my patches, and yet I couldn't catch this thing. And it was the consistency. They said things that get into motion tend to stay in motion. And I needed the motion every day, the consistency every day, and the accountability every day to actually get this to drip market into my head to think differently. And that has been absolutely amazing. I must say that it is also, without me realizing, because there is a lot of repetition, but it's the way that Darren Kidd speaks. It's also the simple notes that I can make. And I think what I've brought now, Chris, to the party is that I am willing. You've got to be willing, coachable, and hungry. And Eric Worre says you can't only be one of the three. You have to get to the point where you go, I'm willing now. Really, I'm ready for this. I'm hungry for this, and I'm open to you telling me how I should attack this in order to get it somehow in my head. And that has been a process for me. I mean, yes, I probably wasted 6 months of this time, but in a way, I wasn't ready. I wasn't open to understanding that things are consistent, that there is a recipe, that even though you say it's a repeatable recipe that you follow, it didn't quite sink in for me. And I mean, I'm starting day 18 tonight, and I always tend to do it at the end of the night so that I sleep with that information in my head, so that I don't overthink things. But also if I look back at my book, and I started this book on the 24th of August at the Life Wave convention, and I'm almost probably 100-200 pages of taking notes. And when I actually look back, finally finally the information is starting not to sound like gibberish. And it's simple things. And I know you've been telling me it's simple things for a year. And I know that you say these things all the time, but they just didn't make sense. So even though I was still managing to find customers and people using the patches, I myself was still going around in circles. And it has really been something that is finally making me. So I just want to say, there's another thing. You got to have, like you said at the last meeting we had, you need to have belief in the product, but you also have to have belief in yourself. And the thing is, because I didn't understand it, I couldn't really believe in it myself from a personal internal perspective. When that clicks in with the product, I get the product, absolutely. But I didn't get me, because I couldn't actually get there. And so it is that recipe, that internal and external recipe, that falls together like a puzzle. And I know you were saying it will eventually happen, and it does over time. So I'm truly grateful for hearing this, and now hearing it again, being responsible, Edward and I, to actually make sure that we put our nuggets together, because you never can stop growing hearing these things. And they say you should even hear these things, at least 10 times. You should go back and listen over and over and over again, because you're undoing the stuff that you know before and you're redoing a new way of being. So I'm truly grateful. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, Beverly, that is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for that. And I'm so glad you touched on the recipe, on those points where we talk about, belief in the product, which goes hand in hand with belief in the company. So, I mean, we know we've got that sorted. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday or the day before, we won the #1 company, Momentum, got the Bravo Awards again, 2 years in a row as the fastest growing company in the network marketing industry. So that's ticked off. I mean, we've got a product that's got 200 patents on. We can see the miracles it does. So those are pretty much ticked off. But it's the shift on the other side when we're talking about the internal work and belief in yourself. And that only comes with self-development.
Yeah.
And I sort of come from a background of self-development. Nobody told me to do it. This is something that came from myself. You can come to my house and you can have a look. I've got about 300, maybe 400 books on self-development, and I've read them all. Yes, over a 25-year period. So my foundation is self-development. And why do I touch on that? Because when I spoke about doing network marketing 25 years ago and doing those 10,000 hours, a lot of it, everything you do in your life, doesn't matter what it is, all goes into your subconscious mind. It's all there. It's all there. So it's sort of like, in a way, riding a bicycle. And you won't believe how quickly these things come back. So you might be a veteran in the industry. You might have done a couple of network marketing companies before. And sometimes we need to unlearn, which is what Beverly touched on as well. We've got to go back and become the student again. So I couldn't come into LifeWave kind of like with a bit of an attitude going, excuse me, I did this 25 years ago. I was like, the top 25 years ago. I couldn't do that, come walking in thinking I'm a know-it-all. I knew nothing. I had to go back to scratch, and I had to become the student again. And that's where the information from Darren Kidd is absolutely phenomenal, coupled with everything we have from This Is It. Mm-hmm. So guys, Stephen, Gene, and Merritt, let me tell you, these guys are the masters of the industry. And a lot of the stuff that you'll hear Darren Kidd talk about is a lot of the words that you hear Stephen Gene is saying, and you're kind of like, wow. It just shows you that the industry hasn't changed. Principles remain the same. It's just the people, the product, and a few little tweaks here and there, but the principles always remain the same, which is so beautiful.
And just to touch on that as well, that's why This Is It has the book of the month, and that's to encourage us all to keep on with the self-development. And a lot of those books are, yes, related to network marketing, and we can connect the dots. But it's also about, just doing that self-reflection, self-development. There's always another layer that we can peel back, even if it's stuff from your childhood, your belief in money, the way you see yourself, the way you project yourself. All of that is part of what we have to go through on an ongoing basis. And definitely for myself as well, many, many years of just throwing myself into as much self-development that I could do. Nowadays, we have everything at our fingertips. Things are available on YouTube. We can read books. We can be part of communities and just, really look at ourselves and go, and I've shared this with people on numerous occasions, is like, often if you get a certain objection that keeps coming up for you, really just take a step back, see what this brings to you and why it keeps coming up. It might just be, I speak about this openly, how a couple of months into LifeWave, Chris and I were speaking to people, and I would keep on getting the money objection. And I was like, what is happening here? Why do I keep getting this? This is so bizarre. And when I started looking deeper and deeper, and it was also like the first question I was getting is like, how much? Not like, can I? And then I had to figure that one out, right? How do I now answer that? And I know a lot of people, a lot of brand partners get that. And I had to do a little bit of a journey of discovery and look at the price point, where I stand on this. And I basically discovered, after diving really, really deep, because this was not even in the forefront for me, right? Because this project is magic. I really discovered that there was something about what the cost is of this product, and can I afford it? Am I worthy of wearing this very expensive price, when for a lot of people, specifically in South Africa, it's out of reach? So that's just a simple example of how I really, really had to work at it. And if I say, now on the road trip as well, part of the training that we do is, once you've done that, once you've peeled back the layers over and over and opened up, and you realize that the shift happens immediately. The minute that sank in, and the minute I made the shift and I knew why I was up against this objection, it cleared and it opened the road. So that's what we want to also encourage everybody to do. So if you get up against something, just reflect it back to yourself and really ask those difficult, hard questions. Be raw and real with yourself. And it doesn't always come up easy. It took me a while to unpack it. Like I say, I wasn't even quite aware, why would it even be a question? Of course, I'm worthy of the patch, right? But deep, 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 deep inside, there was something, just a little something that I had to shift and move, and then it opens up. So I hope that helps, just giving a bit of insight on all the objections that come up and why we need to keep doing the self-development on an ongoing basis.
And what I learned many years ago from an author called Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar, he's one that made the statement, if you help enough other people get what they want in life, you'll automatically get what you want in life. And Zig Ziglar also spoke about, similar to what Beverly was saying, that you need to listen to something or read something 5 times minimum. Because what happens is you're busy watching it or listening to it, and then suddenly a WhatsApp comes through, or you quickly, quickly stirring the coffee in, quickly go to the fridge, come back. You think you've heard it, but you haven't. Do you know how many times when you listen to something the second time, you listen to it and go, I didn't hear that the first time. Where was I? I was there. You were there. You were physically there, but maybe mentally you popped out, you drifted off, you went somewhere else. And you think, I've got it waxed after the second time. Wait until you listen to it the third time. You're going to scare yourself. You're going to go, did I actually listen to that? So what Zig Ziglar talks about is turn your car into a university on wheels. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Guys, driving a car is dead time. That is dead time. Use that time. use it. You're sitting there. You can't go anywhere. It's you and your car.
Yeah, or any dead time. So that can be making dinner, packing the laundry away. We all have those moments where we can multitask, and this is a good way to bring it in.
Completely.
And also writing it down. I think that's very powerful. What is also
glad you brought
doing
that up. Yes.
the power of the pen.
Yeah.
And then you also have a reference to go back to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apply that. So every time you're up against an obstacle, go back to your notes and see if there's some nuggets that pop out at you that can help you.
Thank you for that. Good reminder there. All right, then Edward and Charlene, also favorite students.
These two are just on fire. They are just like, guys, watch out. Yo.
We appreciate that. That's one of the best intros ever. We are so honored to be part of this. It's mind blowing. I'll give you a little indication. That night that I came to you, Chris, and I asked you if you could mentor me, I'd spoken to Charlene about it, and she went, "They're busy, leave them alone." And I went, "I'm just going to ask. If Chris says no, it's fine." And when I spoke to you about it, and you looked at me and you went, "It'd be an honor." And I was like, the whole way home, I was saying to Charlene, "I've got a mentor. I've got a mentor." And she
couldn't hear the end of it.
And then I started the first video, and I listened to everything, and I was like, okay, I get it. And then I listened to it again, or I watched it again, and then straight away I messaged you, Chris, with I think a page and a half of things I wrote down.
Yeah.
And Charlene still went, "You can't, not so late at night." And I was like, no, Chris said, send me a message. So I was like full on board on the whole thing. But everything clicked for me on day 3. Okay. When the message from Darren was, be the message, not the messenger. And I went along and I went, there's where I've been wrong. We had spoken that first night, Chris. I told you, 48 years old, 30 years in sales and marketing. How do I change this? And you said, you gave me some advice. And when I heard it from Darren saying, be the message, not the messenger, I realized it's completely opposite to sales.
Yeah.
Sales, you are the messenger. You're trying to put out as much as you can.
Yeah.
Where with marketing, you got to be what you're doing. And I'd gotten a soft spot for the company, the product, especially what Charlene had been through. But that night, having driven away from the live event, I was in love with the company. I was in love with everything about the company. And the company became a part of me. And to be able to be that message now, and I've realized that with people I'm speaking to, they are understanding where I'm coming from. Where before I was known as the patch guy. Now I'm the compassionate guy with patches.
Oh, beautiful.
That's a major shift for me. So that was amazing from my side.
Absolutely. And I think from Edward, like he's literally like when you spoke about life, wife, insomnia, like that's him.
Yeah.
I kid you not, like I can be in a meeting and he'll be like, Chris, just message me and this and this and this. And I'm like, calm down, like I'm in a meeting, like just relax a bit.
So Charlene actually bought us the shirts that say stay focused. Okay. So apparently I've got ADHD. Well, I got ADD because I didn't go to hospital for the H. So I don't have ADHD, but I'm all over the place all the time. But when I get to speak to you, Chris, then I'm sitting still listening.
Wow.
I sit and I play the recording twice. Okay. Yes, Chris said. Okay, great. Watch the video and I'm sitting there with my pen and paper and I'm writing. And Charlene goes, is there enough paper? And I go, I don't know. I'll let you know if I need another book later.
And then we'll actually sit and compare notes and then I'll catch something and he's like, but where did you get that? I'm like, go listen again.
And I'll go back and I'll listen. And when you said to me, when I got to on about going over to day 8, and you said, you do know you're going to have to start at the beginning. I was so excited. Now I can start at the beginning. I can listen again. And Charlene went, yeah, but you still got to carry on. And I went, I know I got to carry on, but I got to start again. That's the first part, is start again. You can get to a point where you think you know where you're going. But unless you start again, you're not going to understand where you should be going.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Completely. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Ed. Your feedback has been so instrumental, in making this, you and Beverly as well, you guys on the call, you gave me the idea to really open this up to the rest of the community because of the feedback that I was getting from you guys. And day one, it's so funny. I got the voice note from you on day one, the voice note on day three, voice note at day two, day three. By the time we got to day four, the energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the tone, the frequency, everything changed.
Yeah.
And it was elevated.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my hat.
Yeah.
Wow. And then Beverly, well, she was really a few days ahead. Beverly was already on. I mean, look at the screen, the screensaver behind her. She's going into orbit. Beverly's on like a complete another level, absolute another level. And it's just so refreshing to see everybody participating. So as you guys saw what I did on like day one, when I said, okay, everybody have a look at video day one, just seen everybody's commenting. And I thought, this is going to drive everybody crazy. People were messaging me, Chris, I need to go off the group. I can't take so many messages. And it's like, from a good place. And I felt hurt. but then I started to realize, I said, okay, we're going to have to limit it to like 5, maybe 6 comments, and then we'll have to, shut it down. I think 5 or 6 comments is enough, just so people can tap into the frequency of it. But it's just been so amazing looking at the private messages I've been getting of people. I mean, today was day 3, and it's like absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So thank you guys for that feedback. And guys, the secret, I'm going to give you a secret here, is consistency. I can promise you right now, I don't think it. I know it's deep down in my heart, and I know it deep down in my soul. You stick to this consistently for 40 days. I can guarantee you, I promise you, your life is going to change. You're going to have a complete paradigm shift. Your mindset is going to be elevated to a level that you did not even know possible, and watch your life change right in front of your eyes. It is, it's just empowering yourself with that knowledge and the tools, because a lot of it's going to go into your subconscious mind.
It's almost like you are showing commitment.
Completely.
Right? And
But
dedication.
you'll see by day 20 how things are going to shift. But guys, now I'm going to give you a little secret here. I know stuff happens. We get busy. Things happen. Say, hypothetically speaking, tomorrow is just one of those days. We all have a day where it goes pear-shaped. One of those days where it's just like kaboom. Listen, we all allowed to have those days. I have 1, maybe 2 of those days a month where I just completely unplug, I shut off, and I just don't want to deal with the world. Guys, it happens to me as well.
They call it a vacation day or a off day or something.
Something like that. Is it yes, there's a word for that.
Yeah.
A self-care day.
Yeah, something like
that. Mental break day. Yes, I like that.
Or it's a character building day.
Character building day. Yeah.
You just have to go inward, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's on a day where you want to lick your wounds. Where you just want to lick your wounds.
Yeah.
But mental health, mental health day. There we go. Oh,
Yeah.
Rachel, I love that one. Love it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get somebody else to pop on, and I always like to do this to somebody that is not prepared. Shame. I normally do it to Sandy Feast, and Sandy sent me a message and said no, she can't today. But the person that I am putting on is Andrew Lomax. I love to do this. I'm going to make Andrew co-host. There we go, Andrew, and make co-host. I saw Andrew sitting there, and he made a few comments, and I always like to get people on at the end. And I always like to do this unplanned, because spontaneity is the most beautiful thing. Not that I'm putting people on the spot, but it's just a valuable input. And guess what, guys? Tomorrow, Andrew's doing the first Friday night presentation, not a training,
Presentation.
8 o'clock, the normal presentation. People have been asking for it. Guys, can we please have a presentation on Friday? Andrew put his hand up, and I just want to say, Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you. And Andrew is one of the people we met just before our tour. We meet each other quite often for coffee. We got our spot that we meet in Johannesburg. And we met a month ago before coming down. And Andrew said, Chris, I'm ready to do this. But I'm going to need your help. Can you help me whenever? Andrew's a night owl. We'll be messaging at like midnight. And Andrew's also has just thrown himself in there. And Andrew's done some amazing trainings talking about the concept of mindset of being like a farmer. And one day we'll get Andrew to do the training. Andrew, I'd love you just to give your input on what you've seen so far, what you've experienced, and with this 30-day Network Navigator. I'd love your input on it. 40-day Network Navigator. There you go.
Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. Yeah. You know, you go through this journey of life and you think you've arrived. But I don't think we ever do. And I think it's important because life is actually a journey. It's not a destination. And if we're not constantly journeying, then what are we doing? We become stagnant. And yeah, I think I've been at a place of stagnation for quite some time. Because you get stuck in the mundane and you just go through day by day doing exactly the same thing. You know, wake up in the morning and get things done that need to get done and get stuck into a work day, and nothing ever goes as planned in any particular day. And one thing that I've learned in the last 3 days with doing this challenge is you actually need to prioritize it. You need to set aside that time where you can actually just be still and dedicate the amount of time that is in that video to the video. Because, you know, I started off on the first day and it was just thrown in at the beginning of the day before I got into the things of the day. And before I was out the door, it was like everything that had been shared in that video was like out of mind, out of sight, because I just didn't have time to process it. It was literally, it's a task that needed to be done, and I got the task done and out of the way, but there was no impact in it because there was no commitment to it. So I think it's important to just prioritize it and set aside some time to do it. And I think for me, it would be best to do it in the evening. Although I don't like doing stuff like that at night because I process everything. I stopped reading before I went to bed when I was in my late teens because I would read something and I would put my head on the pillow and I'd start going through everything that I read. And by 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still making mental notes, sometimes getting up, getting a pen. And this could even be just reading a novel, never mind reading a self-help book, because your mind just goes there. So I got to sort of set aside a time and prioritize a time to do this, to go through the videos, to make some mental notes, make some physical notes, and then, yes, importantly, go back and revisit it. Go back even in the same 24-hour period and watch it a second time or a third time or whatever. You know, my wife's going to love it when I get down to Jeffrey's Bay and I keep disappearing to the loo because that's the only time I'm going to have a quiet space and be able to do it. So hopefully the video clips don't become like 45 minutes or I'll be in serious trouble for being gone for that amount of time. And I have to make sure my phone is charged before I go in there. So it's just, to me, that's been the most valuable thing, most important thing is to prioritize it. Make sure that you've made a commitment to do the journey of the 40-day period. Prioritize it. Make that time, make that space, make it available, make it something that has to be done. Almost as important as putting on your patch, because, you know, you're going to grow from it. You're going to heal from it. Your mindset's going to change. You're going to get to a point where things like Edward and Beverly both said, it's like you have those light bulb moments where there's this revelation that comes and suddenly you kick into a different gear. But if you don't prioritize it and it just becomes another part of the mundane process of life for the day, the impact of it's going to be lost. And just before Chris threw me under the bus here, I typed in the chat and I said there's 4 very significant periods of time in our lives: 3 days, 7 days, 21 days, and 40 days. It takes 3 days for something new to begin to grow. It takes 3 days for healing to start and sometimes to manifest completely. 7 days is significant to new beginnings, a period of completion after 7 days, and something new has begun. 21 days has vast significance as well, because you're now looking at a period of about 3 weeks. And, you're halfway there to breaking a habit, to formulating a habit. It's in 21 days where you start getting that mental crisis or whatever we were talking about just now, because you're kind of like going through this physical and spiritual detox where you're getting rid of the old and the new is beginning to grow and take hold. And you got to push on beyond 21 days. And at 40 days, it takes 40 days to break a habit. It takes 40 days to form a habit. And 40 days is significant of total new beginnings. After 40 days, and I'll bring in a spiritual context here, after 40 days of rain upon the surface of the earth, everything was wiped out. And there was new beginnings. When Jesus was taken into the desert and held there, for 40 days, he fasted. And after 40 days is only when he began his public ministry. And in 3.5 years after that 40-day journey in the desert, he changed the world forever. So what can you do after 40 days? What can we do? What can I do after 40 days of prioritizing this and getting ourselves into a place where we are at a new beginning and we are equipped with power to actually go out there and create a lasting change?
Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you for that, Andrew. Thank you. Wow.
That makes
Absolutely
so much sense.
mind-blowing. Thank you for sharing those numbers.
And then, like as Andrew was speaking, like then you're going to reach the end of the 40 days, but it's going to be the start of now you've implemented X amount of time per day. You're just going to attend to your business now. So now you've set yourself up, you're already in a habit, and you can just utilize that in the right way. So powerful. Right?
And it's going to be a rolling window.
Yeah.
40 days. So as we get to day 40, we share clip number 1 again. Day 2, day 3, and it's going to be revolving. So anybody can join at any time. Person mustn't go, oh, they're already 5 days in. Oh, I've missed it this time. No, there is no start or finish. Guys, I randomly just put the videos together. So if you start on day 5, it doesn't matter.
And it's
you
just
carry on.
numbers so that we can keep track.
Of it.
Right?
That's
We
right.
could have
Yeah.
might have well called it A to Z or something.
Yeah. So, Andrew and I were talking when we had lunch, and we were talking about who was the master network marketer of all time? Jesus Christ. He signed up 12 disciples, and look what happened there. So you can always relate everything back to the spiritual side and touching on those numbers. So,
Tell them about the first patch, Chris.
Yes, we spoke about that 2 days ago. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad Andrew touched on the numbers, and before closing off, and also the importance of the consistency. People know me. What you see is what you get, and I can be quite vulnerable as well. And people need to know me inside and out. A lot of you that might have seen my tattoo on my arm over here, people sometimes don't know what this symbol is. This symbol on my arm over here is the Alcoholics Anonymous symbol. Yes, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I've got no shame in admitting it. I went through a very bad patch in my life in 2009, going into 2010, when my little brother passed away at his bachelor's party, and my life just went into a downward spiral, and I nearly drank myself to 6 feet under. And I booked myself into rehab myself on the 10th of May, 2010. I booked myself into rehab and I was there for 21 days. 21 days. And what's quite interesting is they said, if you want to recover and stay off the alcohol, you need to do 90 meetings in 90 days. And they said, if you miss a meeting, you got to come on a Sunday where you got to do a meeting on a Sunday morning and a Sunday evening to make up for that day that you missed. That's what I did. I did 90 meetings in 90 days. Guys, that's getting in your car, driving to the meeting, sitting there for an hour, and driving home again, 8 o'clock every night. I did 90 meetings in 90 days. Then I did another 90 meetings in 90 days. So I did 180 meetings in 180 days. And then I'm going to tell you something now. I did 362 AA meetings in 365 days. I missed 3 meetings in a year. That was the foundation. And that's why I can say in a month and a half, I'm 15 years sober. And I've learned a lot of things from the 12-step program. Funny that number 12 again, in the 12-step program, I learned a lot of skills that are very linked to network marketing. And the biggest thing that sticks out is it's got to come from you. It's got to come from within, number one. Number two, it's all about consistency. And I know what I shared right now is very personal, but I just want people to know a little bit about myself and where I come from. You know, it wasn't a rosy road for me. I've been to hell and back, and it's prepared me to lead this amazing team and bring these tools to everybody. So I really hope that everybody got, well, we've got 2 minutes left. I always like to keep it an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Beverly just for 1 minute to give her last little nugget before we shut off. Beverly? There we go.
Thanks very much, Chris. I think my nugget is that it is 80% attitude and 10% skills, and you can't do the one without the other. And either way, you got to have the right attitude to do this, and you will be unstoppable if you just allow.
Completely, 100%. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Beverly. I really hope that everybody got something out of tonight. And guys, stick to it.
Yeah.
Be committed and watch those videos. If you miss a video, watch 2 the next day. And guys, I can promise you this
Take the notes.
completely
Write it
transform your
down.
life. So from our side, really hope you enjoyed it. Edward, Charlene, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your passion. Beverly, thank you. Thank you. You awesome students. Andrew, thank you for your input at the end there. Cannot wait for you to present, guys. Let's all support
Yes.
Andrew tomorrow night. First Friday night presentation. Guys, from our side, sending you lots of love. Love you all. See you guys on the
Take
calls.
care.
See you guys soon. Good night, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.